All right, first up, we have extensively covered on The Breakfast Club digital arrest scams. But the rising number of Indians that are still getting trapped makes it impossible to continue to ignore.
Let's talk about some of these recent cases. For instance, a 72-year-old woman practicing lawyer was kept under digital arrest for about 9 days by fraudsters pretending to be agency officials. They claimed her Aadhaar and bank accounts were involved in illegal activities like gambling, smuggling, black money, etc. She was coerced into withdrawing funds and transferring them. The police have also registered a case under BNS and IT Act, and that's just one of the several stories that have been highlighted in the recent past.
So, a different story we're going to bring to you. A 79-year-old man in Kollam received WhatsApp and video calls from people posing as officials. Now, he was told that his Aadhaar had been misused and that legal action was pending. Under that psychological pressure, he transferred money over many transactions, large sums. He realized the deception only later.
Similarly, a retired supervisor lost around 68.3 lakh rupees. Scammers impersonated CBI, Delhi police, telecom department officials over WhatsApp calls, video calls, alleging his involvement in crimes like terrorism, money laundering, so on and so forth. They kept him under digital pressure, threatened consequences, promised return if he cooperated.
We have one more story for you. A 79-year-old lawyer, his spouse, they got a WhatsApp call from fraudsters posing as law enforcement. They produced fake documents to give this couple. They accused them of illegal SIMs, bank accounts being used for anti-national criminal activity, and then they coerced them to pay to prove their innocence. This couple lost a large sum, but some recovery has happened.
In Gurugram as well, a high-impact case involving a cooperative bank director accused in a digital arrest fraud case worth multiple crores. Court recently rejected the bail plea, noted serious grave allegations, involvement of bank chairman was also suspected, large-scale use of mule accounts to move money across states is something which is being probed as we speak.
And that's a particularly scary example because there you had banks involved too, or so-called banks involved too. Now, the MHA has given out a response. What already exists, we thought first we'd just start by bringing you a look. So, number one, there's a helpline, 1930, that was launched for immediate reports. 1930, let's just repeat that for you. There's a cybercrime portal that's been created for victim complaints. Thousands of fraud SIMs, WhatsApp accounts have already been blocked. The direction has been given to telecom firms to block any spoofed calls. Awareness drums, you would have heard the phone calls on your own phone, through media, metros. And it's not just petty cyber fraud, right? This is a psychological lock-in from the start when you first get that phone call.
And sample this, a phone call, a video screen, a fake officer in uniform, all of this to convince ordinary people that they're under digital arrest. Victims are kept on endless calls, broken down with fear, drained of their savings, and it is happening everywhere. Professionals, retirees, homemakers, students. The scam works also because it exploits trust in authority and fear of the law. The government says helplines are active, accounts are being blocked, awareness campaigns are being run, yet the scam continues to spread and the silence of victims continues to grow. This morning, we bring the spotlight back on this story, and joining us to take this conversation forward is Supreme Court advocate Ashwini Dubey. He'll be laying out what real legal protections citizens across the country have and why these fraudsters are still one step ahead. Good morning, Mr. Dubey. Hope you're doing well. It's a conversation we've had for the longest time. Every now and then we're talking about one or the other stunning case of digital arrest that's shocked one and all. What do you make of this growing pattern? There is, as soon as people are made aware of one trick that these fraudsters go back to, there's another one that comes up.
Just because the digitalization or the advent of technology has revolutionized in the manner that people interact, conduct business, access services, and that too when there is a need to have certain safeguards, those safeguards are somehow not there. Currently, if you see, it is a digital arrest has been designed in the manner that those who pretend themselves to be the officers of different agencies, they, in order to extort money by using fear, deceit and intimidation, fraudsters impersonate as law enforcement officials using threats of arrest frozen bank accounts and passport cancellations to coerce victims into paying fine or security deposit. The law, moment there is a law made, the fraudsters go ahead 10 times then the law is made. So there is a need to reform the law side by side. The way technology is improving, the reformations are taking place, the law has to reform. Currently, if you see in India, there is no such law legal framework which is addressing the digital arrest. There are certain laws, of course, that impersonating as a public servant, that's in BNS, but that there is a little offense of 6 months, then the cheating subject to imprisonment or up to 7 years, then forgery, extortion, identity theft. But if you see the digital arrest has not been criminalized as of now in India. The Information Technology Act has also not changed to the extent that those who use the technology to cheat money, and that particularly a digital arrest, has not found place. So now the need is to have a law or the amendment in the Information Technology Act which can prevent these kind of the fraudsters to deceive people, number one. Number two, you see the check and balance. The moment the way technology is evolving, there has to be a mechanism to check and balance so that those who claim themselves to be the law enforcement officials, they are immediately caught. For that, we have to have our own data system. Data sovereignty is important because these fraudsters sit somewhere outside, use the technology, create an environment that they are the real court officials or the agency officials, the CBI officials or ED officials, and they try to impersonate. So there is a need. Third is important, our own awareness. We have to be vigilant 24/7. Why we have to be vigilant? That we have to first ensure that those who are calling and posing themselves as the officers, are they real officers? Because the court never function virtually. Police never arrest virtually. So we have to make sure, and that is why Ministry of Home Affairs time and again says that we have to be cautious. Because you see, human psychology and social engineering, they read it. Then one of the biggest reasons cyber scams succeed in human error. Cyber criminals use social engineering tactics to manipulate people into revealing sensitive information. And that is why we have to have a law, a stringent law, which can prevent. And the specialized cyber police force and also the bank officials should be vigilant 24/7, so that if they immediately found that any suspicious amount is being transferred, they immediately approach to that person. How we can prevent? But ultimately, the onus lies on the government and the parliament to make a law so that these kind of fraudsters be arrested soon, and people should not they should not lose their hard-earned money. As you have said, the 79-year-old lawyer, even the lawyer was subjected to digital arrest. You can understand, one major general was subjected to digital arrest. So they even choose those elderly people. So, and elderly people, and they somehow try to create an environment, and public under the fear lose their money. Over to you.
So I think there's also one more aspect here, Ashwini. You walked us through the first three parts, but the fourth part of the difficulty of trying to get the money back. You know, we're often told that if you contact authorities within 24 hours, recovery of money will be easier. But we've had so many cases here on the Breakfast Club. We've even had victims come and talk about just how difficult it is to actually get the money back. You're often looking at, a 0% chance of getting that full amount back. Ashwini, walk us through first examples. Have you personally fought a case for cybercrime for someone? Have you ever taken a case forward? Because we want to understand a little bit about the details. How does this actually happen? What have you heard from victims? Tell us that.
Look, one friend of mine who was a very senior law officer, one of the PSU, immediately he got a call saying that he is some CBI official, he is calling from the CBI office. There was already CBI raid in that PSU. Some of the officials were caught. So he thought that the CBI has come, CBI will come. He was under arrest for 24 hours. Then his wife called me and he was not able to leave the phone. Even he was going to the washroom with that phone because the scammers were pretending that if you will leave the phone or if you will not disclose the information, immediately CBI will come and arrest you. Then his wife called me. Then I called him and I immediately asked him to immediately disconnect the phone. By the time he should share his OTP, at the same time I said immediately disconnect the phone and go to the police station. Somehow he's safe. The point herein is the way they pose the information, the sensitive information through Reiki they get, the ordinary person understand that yes, they are the real CBI officials or they are real ED officials, the real police officials, and somehow they do conduct an inquiry about that person. It's not the random call not made. Somehow they conduct an inquiry, they go through the process, also find out that yes, this gentleman has money, and not 1%, it is not the scammers. They take the support somewhere from the bank officials, as you rightly pointed out. They find out that yes, this gentleman has money or not. Then only they try to target. Now there are enough example. You see, in 2024, if you will find that the static says that 120 crore money, 1 lakh 20 crore money throughout the world, the people have lost. And if in India, you see that number is more than 150 crores. So how these digital arrests, the people, the scammers are working, we have to understand their modus operandi at the first instance. Number two, digital payments and financial fraud risk department has to be invented in every bank. So cyber crime networks has to be monitored 24/7. And ultimately, I said one thing, data sovereignty. Our data is not saved in our country, but our data is somewhere Baku, Mongolia, Balochistan or somewhere. So we have to have our own data so that if they are within the India, somebody is sitting in India and if do the scam, you have a way to recover that money. Our enforcement agencies have their doctrine to get that back. But if somebody is sitting in Dubai, somebody is sitting in foreign land, how will you take that money back? That is the important question. So we have to advent with the technological advancement, and also we have to make certain safeguards, guidelines so that that money can be recovered. And for that we are very back. We are very not, as of now, we are not in an advanced stage. Technology evolving, AI has come. But you see, our law enforcement agencies are still struggling to get to cope up with those fraudsters who are ahead than our enforcement agencies. Over to you.
Also, since we're talking about personal or individual stories, examples perhaps that you've come across, Ashwini, tell us the struggle where people also don't report about these kind of instances or something that they're going through, given the fear of not hearing back. That's one factor that several victims have spoken of very vocally, that even if we do complain, we don't know if we'll hear back. We don't know if someone will step up to really help us out of that situation. Now, there is a problem there too. What have you heard from people who've reached out with these stories? Have these people reported digital frauds that they've been put through? Have they heard back from agencies or the police for that matter? What's the story there?
First, why people do not report? There is a reason that we don't have a friendly police officials. The police should be friendly. The cyber officials or the agencies should be friendly so that a person feel free to approach them. It is not that they work like a colonial era police. So why people are afraid of going to the police station? People, though they have a right, constitution say, law say, enforcement agencies say that you should approach to the police. But the way they treat the victims, the victim himself, before lodging the police FIR, they treat them as a criminal or the accused. So victim himself find in an isolated place in the police station. So first, which is important in this country, is that the police should behave in a friendly manner. Then only the more and more cases will be reported. Number two, why people do not report? The reason is that they know that their money will not come back. Number three, when they go to the police somehow, instead of supporting and taking immediate action, they try to discourage them. The paisa to aayega nahi. Moment you see the mobile is lost, you go to the police station, try to lodge a FIR, NCR even the police will not give you. So that system has to be, there has to be a friendly behavior by the police official, that the more and more people will go and report it. Fourth is, there are government has been time and again asking the people to be vigilant. There are Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, National Cyber Crime Reporting Portals, Financial Cyber Fraud Reporting Systems, Cyber Forensic Labs, training through the various methods by the officials, agencies. But somehow what is required? The friendly behavior. Unless and until police comes that yes, we are there to support you, people will not report it because people know they will not get money back. And what is required is the officials, our agencies, victims, the data providers, as well as the bankers should act in coordination with each other collectively in order to ensure that where money has flown, which bank account was involved in, which bank was involved into it, where the money has gone, how they can recover, which person, which time they have withdrawn that money. In order to have a nationwide crack, it is required that the collectively each and every agency should work. Then only we can say that yes, money can be. Otherwise लोगों को लगता है कि हमें तो कुछ मिलना नहीं है, हम जाएं क्यों पुलिस में? That's the problem which most of the Indian citizens are facing. So
that's one, Ashwini ji. The other problem is also how people are looked down upon. Yeah. One, by the police officers. Two, by the society. So the moment you're judged for filing a complaint or being frauded digitally, and you're judged for not being as intellectually capable of coming in time while you were going through that process, people obviously, are reluctant then going forward of the stories they've heard perhaps in their neighborhood as well. So it's a cycle, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of psychological factors.
To exactly that point, going to say that I think one more aspect we can talk a little bit more about, especially because this is a show that's watched by so many people at home. I want everyone to reach out to the older people in their family, because all of the examples we gave in the beginning, it's not as if digital arrest is exclusively a problem that hits people who are in their 60s or 70s, but we do see a disproportionate number of cases coming from people who are in their 70s, where there's fear, you've received a text. And that's where I really think reaching out constantly, because when we have, Ashwini, people come and talk on the show, older people in their 70s, they talk about the loneliness, going through something like this, feeling embarrassment, and then not reaching out to everyone. So I do think that just if we all take the initiative to reach out to the older generation in our own families constantly, so at any time they're not answering calls, for example, something's up. I think that could be a positive initiative anyone watching the show can actually take.
Yes, very true. Very well. The people, these citizens, senior citizens feel lonely, and the digital technology advancement, because everyone has an iPhone, everyone has a multimedia, what we say, everyone has a data, everyone has internet in the phone. So even our older people or senior citizens, they are not aware about how to prevent these kind of scams. So they even keep their phones sometime open, number one. Number two, when they call to their near and dear, the prompt response which is required, they don't get. Number three, we live in where the joint family concept has gone, and now the nuclear family concept has come. So often the children should visit to their elders to talk about them. They often do not visit. Fourth, the citizens' cooperation through RWAs. What is required that the senior citizen forums in each and every RWA must talk about these issues and must ensure that those who are the front runners of the society, they educate them. And when they need it, immediately somebody is coming to help them. And that is why you see, unless and until there is a collective wisdomful discussion with the elders, with the senior citizens, with the person who are advanced in the technology and have a knowledge over the technology and will make them aware, these things will keep happening. So what is required, one and important thing is, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आप बुजुर्गों के साथ कन्वर्स करिए, उनसे मिलिए, उनसे बातें करिए, उनको समझाइए, then only we can prevent it. And it is not the elders only. Even you see those who are intellectually capable, they think that they're intellectually capable, they also lose money, because this is not only the digital. There are other fraudsters have designed many other way outs to get money. May also cheat with the money to buy because they take the OTP. Somehow Amazon people will come, somehow Flipkart wale aayenge, Blinkit person will come, will take your OTP और फिर पता चलेगा कि money has gone. So it's not one day process. They do complete Reiki, not one method, not only you. They try to know what are your bank balance, in which bank you are operating, what are every day, what are your what work you perform, how much cash and money flow is there.
Yeah, so there's no one-stop solution to this problem. So much that needs to be done on so many levels. Some suggestions have been given by you, Ashwini. There are interesting suggestions that have been acted upon. In the West, for instance, you have a unique ID that each of the agency officials carry, which people are supposed to flash when they confront anyone with a question. People are supposed to first give that unique ID, and people can actually look up. So victims or people who are being frauded in this case can actually look up online and see and verify whether that ID belongs to a real agency official. Thank you so much, Ashwini, for joining us with all those details. Internet, we all know, is a double-edged sword. Endangers us, comes up with a lot of opportunities as well. So in that sense, it's a big plus if we use it right.